cold, gray skies. Fog and rain swirl through the verdant green countryside, framing moss-covered stones and boulders that dot the ragged, hilly landscape, interrupted periodically with small patches of evergreen forest and vine. Large, shadowy structures rise in the distance. At first, they look like mountains, yet they're too angular, too symmetrical. Giant buildings, angular and wide, rise like walls bisecting this humble countryside. A moss-covered ruin of twisted, rusted metal rising 2,000 feet into the air, while shepherds in wooden huts tend their flocks in the land below. And on the muddy dirt road, 2 figures walk. William, may you describe Elena for us?
My character is Elena. She's medium height, human. She has brown hair. She wears a pretty kind of standard, everyday commoner outfit. She has a brown cloak that reaches to her knees and has a hood. She has a backpack, or more like a knapsack, that on the side is a small guitar-looking instrument. There is a rusted, very old, battered-looking sword thrust through her belt. It doesn't even have a scabbard or a sheath. It's just kind of sitting there. On her hand, she wears a ring on her ring finger. Looks a bit like either a wedding ring or an engagement ring. Her eyes are 2 different colors. One is brown, and the other is blue. And generally, she just kind of looks a little bit worn, as though she's seen a lot, even though she's pretty early adulthood.
My character is Tarantula. She is a tabaxi, medium-sized. She heavily resembles a wolf cat with dark fur along her body, except for on her face, throat, hands, and legs. They are completely furless. She has yellow eyes, and she definitely looks pretty battered up. She has a massive scar across her face, and one of her ears is ripped off. She has scars along her body as if she got in some kind of big fight. She is wearing dark clothing and has a little cloak that goes down to her shoulders.
Alright. You leave the enclosed area that is the woods behind you and begin to walk through this countryside lying before you.
Tarantula looks back at the forest and then looks at the wide country landscape ahead of her and turns to Elena and says, I've never really been outside of the woods before. Have you?
Well, I guess not on this side of the woods. I have been out of the woods, yes, in my lifetime. But I've never been past it, I guess, to put it in perspective.
Was it scary out there? Outside of the woods?
No, not at all. I lived in a small village on the other side of the forest. I'm only traveling through, as I suppose we both are.
Yeah. I lived in a small village inside the forest. It was pretty deep in there. Been on the road for quite some time now.
Yes, haven't we? Yes.
2 figures pass by in the fog, acknowledging you but keeping their distance. Their clothing, a mix of scrap and a long draping fabric. Their tools cling lightly in the twilight air as they make their way towards the large structures rising about you.
Elena just kind of looks back and forth. Have you ever seen other people before? Other people, humans, someone who's not cat-like.
Oh, yeah, of course. There were plenty in the village. It's for everybody.
Oh. I apologize. Something made me think that maybe it was only your kind.
Oh no. There's plenty of other people. Good mix in there.
A long construct lays sprawled over 300 feet of peat, covered in moss and overgrown weeds. The middle collapsed long ago. It looks like a ship of sorts, with large pipes and twisted tubes dotting the construct, pointed skyward.
Can I make some sort of check, maybe a history check, if I can tell what exactly it is?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a...
And you're proficient in history?
I am proficient in history, yes. So 6 plus 1, 7.
7?
Yeah.
You have no idea. This is old, though. This is very old. Even though you kind of get the idea that the structures you're walking through are probably, probably from before the storm rose. You haven't seen any, this is beyond anything you've seen, short of, out of stories, and this is, beyond anything that you would know to be built within the more modern ages.
Lena just kind of looks up at it, then reaches behind her her head and kind of unwinds the cord that attaches the guitar-looking thing to her pack and kind of pulls it in front of her and plucks out a note or two, just kind of looking up at the thing, structure.
Tarantula kind of wrinkles her nose and turns to Elena and just kind of gently pushes the instrument down and says, I don't think you should be playing that, especially here. Who knows what kind of attention you'll bring with that kind of noise?
Elena's a little taken aback. I guess I didn't think about that. And she kind of looks back and forth. I'm sure it's okay. I'm just...
Especially in front of...
Make a perception check.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
For looking back and forth.
Oh, yes, of course. Okay, what's my perception? +0. Okay.
And what is your passive perception?
My passive perception
yours.
My passive perception is 14.
14, okay. What is yours?
10.
No, sorry, not passive perception, your roll.
Well, I just rolled a d12 instead of a d20, and I got a 6, so...
Oh, that's not good.
But I got a 12, so... 12 plus 0, so
That's
12.
amazing. Okay. You notice, a shadowy figure peeking around the corner. And then spot its fluffy white coat and realize that's a curious sheep that's just kind of wandered from its flock. That just kind of looks at you, paws, and then just kind of dashes away.
Upon seeing this little sheep, Tarantula immediately jumps back and grabs a dagger that is attached to one of her ankles and points it at the sheep. And even after she does realize that it is in fact a sheep, she keeps holding out her dagger as it wanders along the grass.
Elena kind of turns kind of her head and looks at this little scene. Tarantula, it's just a sheep. Put your dagger down. It's okay.
But what if it's not really a sheep? What if it's a spirit that's attached to this ruin?
Why would it be a spirit?
The sheep kind of baws in the distance.
I don't think it's a spirit. I think it's just a sheep.
Oh, it's near that thing, and she points to the big ruined object.
Yeah, well, we are near that thing. We're not spirits, are we?
I hope not. I mean, you know, I'd
Are
rather
you a
we not
spirit?
be. No, I don't think so. And she like looks at her hands. No, I'm not a spirit. But look, let's just get out of here. It's already bad luck that we're around this thing. I mean,
Okay, I have no problem with that. Elena gives Tarantula kind of a side eye, but keeps walking down the path.
You begin to crest over a ridge above a bay and begin to see Greencliff. This city's green hills are laden with cobbled streets and short, mostly one-story buildings of stone and a bit of wood. Statues dedicated to the three first deities dot the street corners. Warm oil lanterns light the city, inviting you to take shelter from the rain. As the fog obscures the shore and bay beyond, as you begin your approach.
would Tarantula recognize the deities that these statues belong to?
Go ahead and make a religion check, I guess.
Okay. Religion.
Very religious people out here.
It's just like a few statues on the street corners. Although, as you're kind of like walking inward towards the city, because you're kind of on a hill in an elevated area, you can see what appears to be a market of sorts. Because you both have dark vision, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You can both like see with your nighttime adjusted eyes, like kind of in the fog, in the light oil lanterns, you see a circular market kind of in the center of Greencliff, and there are multiple statues just kind of positioned around there, along with like there are kind of like smaller ones around the city, and then three larger ones just kind of sitting there in that little town center, and a lot of what appear to be businesses of sorts. To the north of that, you notice what appears to be a larger castle of sorts, which appears to be like some sort of town hall. And beyond that, you see docks with several ships kind of lining the shoreline. As you descend down, small wooden huts start to move past you, and you notice kind of like a group of those salvagers, their long fabric and odd like scrap metal clothing, goggles and wrapped scarves around their heads, are just kind of like sitting there, and like a few of them are like either holding or like have wagons being dragged by goats that have like bits of salvage here and there. They're clinking in the wind and fog as they line up before this warehouse. Some of them appear to be going inside as you make your way past.
For the religion check, I got a 6 minus 1, so a 5.
A 5?
Mm-hmm.
Those are some pretty cool looking statues.
Are they like on every corner, or is it like
Not every corner.
sporadic?
They're probably like just here and there. Yeah, like here and there. Maybe like one every like 3 streets over.
Okay.
And then you notice like a few offerings. Like there's a bit of like notes and a few burned candles by them, and like bits of food.
Okay.
Just kind of- and they're like kind of covered in moss.
Would Tarantula be able to go over to whatever statue is closest just to get a closer look at it?
Get a closer look at it. Huh.
Just to like look at it, not to.
All right. So you see what appears to be like kind of a woman, like kind of sitting there, hands together, and what appears to, and there's kind of like a water motif around her, like waves and stuff, and her hair kind of flows back into what appears to be the water of the ocean itself, and a few fish like carved into like what appear to be her dress, as water kind of like is swirling around her, and she appears to be like holding like a fish.
It's not hard to guess what she's the god of.
Wow, she's so beautiful. Have you ever seen any statues like this, Elena?
Not that I know of. I've heard of them. In my town, we didn't have any statues, I guess.
Oh, well, I mean, you're not alone. I didn't have any statues like this either, which is why it's so special. I mean, to see a statue like this and, you know, to be able to get so close without, you know, being worried about curses or spirits or things of that nature. I mean, it's lovely. Plus, this craftsmanship is beautiful. I mean, look at these fish. And she, like, kind of runs her hand across one of the fish carved into the statue.
What do you mean, curses and spirits? Is it a thing with statues?
Did your parents never tell you? I mean, you have to stay away from ruins in the forest. There's spirits and curses that can kill you or worse.
Really? Well, I've in the stories, I guess that's always been the case, but I hadn't really considered they were that close to home.
Oh, they're quite real. It's a pretty big deal. Where I was from, how long did you say you were out in the woods again?
A couple weeks, maybe.
A couple weeks, and you didn't know this?
Well, I mean, it's my first time out. I guess not. I have no experience.
Well, I will say you're very lucky that you made it that far. I mean, there's all kinds of weird things in the woods, and to not have somebody warn you about them. I mean, what other warnings did you not receive?
Well, I don't know what warnings I didn't receive. I kind of set out on my own. I wasn't really warned, I guess. Then I was kind of starting to regret asking the question.
Well, it's a wonder you've made it this far. No warnings at all? Did your elders never tell you about curses or forest spirits that'll drag you away or dark things in the woods that'll rip you apart? I mean, nothing of that sort. Predators, maybe bears, wolves, coyotes, falling trees. Anything can kill you when you're out there, especially when you're alone.
Well, I guess most of the time I was the one telling stories. No, I suppose I had never really thought of that.
So your village didn't have elders or adults that would tell you, give you warnings or stories or anything of that sort?
Not quite in the sense that you're thinking. I guess not. Everyone was kind of, I don't know, kept to themselves a little bit. There was no elders. There were people who were elder, but you know, they didn't really tell public stories unless you asked them to, I guess. A pretty normal town. We didn't...
Well, I guess maybe things are different when you're outside of the woods. I mean, if you would have lived in the woods and you didn't know things like that, your village probably would have been wiped out. I mean, keeping to yourself, what kind of a life is that? You need to be around people. That being alone is dangerous. I mean, I really, that's incredible. I thought everyone would have known that.
Well, for me, it's been something I've had to learn. Being alone is not easy. Elena just kind of looks down and clomps through a puddle, walking through the streets.
Were you attacked by something? Did you get grabbed?
Lena's mouth just kind of flaps.
Well, you don't need to tell me about it if you don't want to. I know it's a painful subject, but it's. If you did, I'm very happy you made it out alive. I mean, that's.
Could we find an inn, or something? Spend the night.
A what?
An inn.
A what?
Elena kind of stops. An inn, a place that has bedrooms and food where you can spend the night out of the weather and the rain.
An inn. I've heard of travelers asking for that when they go in the village, but I'm sorry, I don't know what an inn is. We didn't have any in the village.
Oh. Okay, well, an inn is a place where there are rooms that you can pay money to stay in for nights as long as you need. Usually they have food too, it's kind of like a person's house that is rentable.
Oh, well, we had something similar to that. I mean, it would be people's houses. If a traveler comes by, or if somebody needs a place to stay, maybe their house flooded, or a tree fell, or a branch fell, something of that sort. You could just ask somebody else, but so would we have to ask I mean, it's what time is it, DM? Like, what time does it look like?
It would be like approaching evening. It would be like the start of early evening at this point.
Start of early evening, okay.
It's a bit late, but I guess people aren't really sleeping. So, are just inns what you call houses? I guess, or.
On that note, Elena, you haven't been to a city before. Yeah. But at least from what you've heard, you'd always picture them to be noisier at the very least. Perhaps it's the rain, but it seems very quiet. Not a lot of people wander the streets. At least not as many as you expected. And maybe only you see like maybe 3 guards kind of eyeing you in like gray armor with green sashes and insignia of like what appears to be like a bear on a shield.
Does that resemble the seal on the letter that I have?
Yes, actually.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, what exactly is your plan out here? Why did you leave the forest?
Oh, well, you see, it was a sky ship. I'm following a sky ship. I have a quest. The elders they sent me on a quest. We see sky ships a lot, but we don't know where they go. So they told me a huge honor. They told me to go after it and see where they end up. And it's a long journey, but I'm sure I'll get there eventually.
looking for a skyship.
Yeah.
Elena would like to roll insight.
Okay.
See if
go
she's
ahead and roll
lying.
insight. And Tarantula, you can make a persuasion or deception check, just for the fun of it.
14.
14.
Plus 0, 14.
All right.
Give me 1 minute. The thing I am using to look at character sheets is struggling right now. Alright. Wrong one. 11 plus 3, that is 14.
That was 14.
So we're tied.
What's yours? You're
14,
tied.
14.
Roll again, just straight flat roll. Let's see
Okay.
what happens.
Ooh, natural 1. Oh
Amazing.
no.
You're not going to believe this.
No way.
I got a natural
No
one.
way.
There's no way.
No.
Got a
way.
natural one. My dice says fuck on it. Wow.
Oh my
No
god.
way. Okay. Yeah, no, you guys are just staring at each other. Your brains explode. It's weird. No.
We're rolling again?
Go ahead. This is
Okay.
a really
This
weird
is like, it's like
situation.
playing war.
Yeah.
It's a weird
Please
situation.
don't get the same one.
It doesn't happen.
Okay,
very
15.
I got a 17.
That's like the feeling
Hard-
of losing war.
often. Okay. What vibe does she give off?
She gives off a vibe that is like I guess like you get a bit of a gut feeling that something's fishy about it, but she's pretty good at covering it up. It's really hard to tell if she's like lying or anything like that, but it's just something seems fishy at the back of your mind, but you don't know what it is.
That could be the fish. You guys are by the docks right now.
That could be that as well.
Yeah.
Could
I'm
be-
hallucinating.
It
because
could
of
be the
fish.
water.
Hard to read.
Okay. Okay. Well, Elena will just kind of nod. Well, I don't think there's any skyships here, but I wish you luck in finding one.
Oh, well, you know, it's always good to travel with company. You know, since being alone is incredibly dangerous. So, I'm glad that I was able to find you on my journey. I've been out there for quite a while, and it's pretty spooky. It's pretty scary in there alone like that.
Yes, it's not the most pleasant of journeys.
Elena, you get knocked out of the way and into a puddle of muddy water as what appears to be a very large man in gray armor with a red sash, accompanied by a shorter man, nearly balding, in the same like kind of armor, just kind of like knock past you, and they're like, "Out of the way, important business." Larger one says, like with a growl in his voice, long, brown, matted hair, wetted by the rain.
Do
as
they
he
have
walks
like a
past you.
different insignia or something? Just, opposing families.
None that
type?
you can see.
Okay.
The armor like kind of has like a spiky look to it, and there's like red sash. So it looks different, but it doesn't look. It doesn't look like
I'm smelling bad guy.
Yes.
maybe. They appear to be carrying a barrel. Of like
Carrying a barrel.
yeah, like a
Okay.
barrel, and there's like a sloshing of liquid as they walk around with it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the armor does not look well put together. It doesn't look like it was, like it's it doesn't look the guard that you saw earlier, those were obviously guard, but this armor looks cobbled together.
Oh, okay. So they're like
Truly made.
wannabe bad guys.
Thugs,
Okay.
definitely.
Thugs, yeah. All right. Okay. Well, Elena will kind of look back and forth. She's looking for manners.
Yeah, you're currently just lying in the mud right now.
Oh, right. I'm still in the mud.
Yeah, Tarantula will quickly go over and hold out a hand towards Elena. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Elena will take Tarantula's hand and like pick herself up. Bastards. Don't know their own use in life, so they don't have anything better to do than trample over others who aren't as powerful as themselves. She kind of shakes her cloak out. It's muddy and stuff. It's not pleasant. Ugh.
Tarantula like takes a hand and helps like brush off some mud from the cloak.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Ugh.
Oh yeah, of course. That's so rude of them to do, to just push you over like that. I mean, they can go around. A couple extra steps.
Well, then it kind of spreads her arms and grins in a kind of unfortunate expression. Welcome to civilization.
Oh, well, I thought it would be a little bit more respectable than that, but I'm sure not everybody is like that. I mean, we have the inns you're talking about. Those are cool. And the statues over there, I mean, and this place is just really pretty. It can't be that bad.
Well, I hate to disappoint you, but sometimes it can be.
What are you looking for right now, Elena?
A manor. Specifically a manor that might be abandoned or, have the seal on it or something else, but mostly just abandoned.
Okay, from what you can see behind what appears to be like that city hall of sorts, there are several like larger buildings that like appear to be living quarters. So like living quarters, mansions and whatnot, made of stone. There's a little bit higher than the rest of them, and there appears to be an industrial district like kind of further on.
Okay.
From that, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That would be the area to go to if you were looking.
Okay. I'll go to the town hall first, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you approach, you notice that the last of the lights is being turned out. And
can I like catch someone on the way out or something?
Unfortunately, no. Let me say.
Dang it.
Yeah. It's the evening is progressing pretty quickly here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elena kind of looks at Tarantula. Are you in the mood to get something to eat and stay somewhere, or would you like to explore a little longer?
Oh, I think it might be best to settle down somewhere. I'd love to see that inn you were talking about. It really does sound nice.
Oh, of course. All right. Inn. To the inn it is.
As you turn, you're kind of in that central area that I was describing earlier, the one with the statues. You notice what appears to be a dive of some sorts. A
dive?
large, like a really run-down tavern.
Okay.
Basically, basically there's kind of like a symbol of a snake devouring its own tail. It's called the Serpent's Den, and you notice you hear loud laughter inside, and you see more figures wearing that same gray metal armor with red sashes. Some of them kind of eyeing you as you pass by, but most of them just drinking.
Okay. Well, we're not going in there.
And you notice another place which appears to have a warmer interior. A large window, a little bit more wood, kind of of an ornamental, carved in ornamental patterns. Dots this, still mostly stone building.
Okay.
A large, so basically what appears to be a lantern, which glows an odd blue light, with contrast to many of the other oil lanterns here. And it's basically the sign says Storm's Lantern above it. You see a few people inside. Still open. And you are looking for a room? Well, you don't have to look too far. Down the block, kind of closer to the docks, you hear laughter and the typical noise of a crowded area of people taking shelter from the rain by the docks. And you approach?
Yeah.
As you approach, the sign slowly comes into view, and the words Salty Sailor Pub and Inn are written along what appears to be a very run-down wooden sign that's kind of hanging from one chain and just kind of creaking and bumping into the side of the building itself. It appears to be a building where it appears to be at one point it was 3 buildings, but it seems to have merged into one. And it appears to be like a welcome, the welcoming golden light of the interior kind of lures you in.
Cool. Well, Elena will walk up and kind of, push the door open, kind of motion for Tarantula to come inside.
Once inside, Tarantula is going to aggressively shake her head and tail off like a dog, like a wet dog, and try to get some of the moisture off from the fog of the surrounding area.
All right. So as you enter, you can see that the inn itself, well, this part would be the pub, more like, is kind of crowded. You see like multiple like people that appear to be like sailors of sorts. Their appearance is worn, but they're drinking heavily. And also a group of like different like people just kind of like handing out food, what appears to be like sausages and mashed potatoes, bits of like root vegetables probably farmed from around the area, fish and whatnot, and a lot of ale is being passed around as you kind of like make your way through the area. But you can't help but notice there are quite a few people giving you odd looks.
Well, Elena will walk up to the counter, and where's the barkeep?
Mopping up like what appears to be like a perpetually spawning mess as this like party is kind of going on in the inn. And then it's like dwarven barkeeper kind of like wearing at one point it was a nice shirt at one point, and his sleeves kind of like rolled up, wearing like some normal like work clothes as he just kind of like is mopping up this like beer that is like pooled over the area, and he just kind of like grunts and looks up at you.
Could we get 2 rooms, please?
2 rooms. I'll run you about 10 silver. And just kind of like looks at you, squinting.
All right. 10 silver. Elena doesn't look happy about it, but pulls out 10 silver and slides it across the bar.
Right. He just kind of takes it and just continues mopping, and then he like starts rummaging around for a key, and then he just kind of like looks at you, squinting, and he's like, "Where you from?"
A long way away.
I'm from a village in the woods. It's a pretty nice place. It's certainly not as big as it is here. Do you know what's going on back there? Is there some sort of celebration of something?
Not really. The fishermen just kind of got off work, and I'm making a mess of the place as usual. Why are you here?
We're just passing through.
Passing through, huh?
I
mean, it's the ocean after this point. Not much to go to. Unless you're taking a boat. Starts mopping again, and then he like reaches down and pulls out 2 keys. Rooms 3 and 4 are open.
Thank you.
Still looking at you.
Are they upstairs or downstairs?
I'll show you. But why are you here?
I'm looking for someone. I have a letter, but it's personal business, if you don't mind.
Fine. He just hands you the keys. Rooms 3 and 4, and then he kind of goes to like the back of the bar, like shouldering past like a few people, opens up the door, and there appears to be like a staircase descending downward into a subterranean area that you weren't exactly expecting, a basement of sorts.
Oh, cool.
And as you follow him down here, you see a hallway with several rooms like lying there, and 3 and 4 are kind of like painted on the doors.
Cool.
As they're walking, Tarantula is going to look at Elena and go, an ocean? I've heard of those before, but I've never seen one. There's one nearby?
Yes, we saw it on the way in. Big body of water.
That was all water?
What did you think it was?
Well, it was a bit hard to see, but I thought it was just more grass.
Oh, well,
I didn't think there could be that much water.
yes, it's all water. You really haven't ever been out of the forest, have you?
No, I told you, this is the first time I've been so far from the village. It's certainly scary. I really don't know any of this stuff.
Huh. Well, yes, it's all water.
Well, you seem to know your way around, so I'm really glad I at least have you here. Cause if I didn't have you, this would be an awful experience. I'd be outside somewhere. I didn't know what an inn was.
Elena kind of smiles, kind of in like a, oh, that's really cute way. Well, I'm glad I can be of assistance.
Do you enter the room?
Yes. Is the guy still hanging around for like a second? Because I wanted to ask him something before he left.
If you can catch him, yes.
Okay. Can I like kind of catch his sleeve or something?
Kind of grunts in response.
Just one question. Those I've seen men wearing red sashes and kind of ill-fitting armor around. What are they dangerous at all?
Kind of looks at you again. Yeah, best stay out of their way. And he just kind of shoves you off of his sleeve and starts to walk back up to the loud noises. And then as he shuts the door behind him, you hear him kind of start yelling at what appears to be like a fight that's gotten a little bit too far out of hand.
Okay. Elena will just kind of motion Tarantula. 2 rooms, take your pick. I'm sure they're exactly the same.
I guess I'll take this one, and she points to the one on the left.
4.
4.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Elena hands her key number 4. I have a thing or two I need to go do outside. If you want to stay here, I'll be back in a little bit.
What do you mean? I thought we were both gonna stay here for the night.
Well, yes, but there's some stuff I have to do.
Do you have to do it right now? I mean...
Yes.
It's getting pretty late, and...
I know. I have to do it now. Just trust me. It's important.
Well, then I'll go with you. You shouldn't be going out there alone, especially at night. I mean, what if those guys are really dangerous and they, instead of pushing you, they do something bad, like they stab you or they steal your money or something like that.
Elena kind of thinks about it for a second, and she kind of looks Tarantula up and down. She looks very indecisive. She almost physically tilts in 2 different directions. All right, fine. You can come, but I have to ask. Please don't ask too many questions or make too much noise, because it's not a very safe thing. We'll be doing, if that's okay.
Oh, I guess I won't get in the way. Don't worry about that. Not safe. What do you mean by not safe?
Well, I don't know what could happen. I'm looking for a house, a very specific house. I don't know what I might find inside. That's all.
Are you sure that you have to do this? I
Yes.
mean, if it's...
I do have to do this.
Oh, okay, well, I don't want to leave you alone out there, and I don't want to be left alone back here, so I'll come with you, and like I said, I promise I won't get in your way at all.
Okay. Thank you, Tarantula. I appreciate that. Elena will close and lock the door. Actually, she never even opened the door. She'll just put the key away.
She'll relock the door just in case.
She'll unlock it, open it, and then close it and lock it.
Just double checking. Tarantula will lock
Making
hers.
sure nothing
as
in
well.
the room can get out.
Yeah.
Those demons under my bed.
Keep them in there.
All right. Well, I guess just follow me. And Elena will march back up the stairs and out, elbowing people who get in her way. Out the door, out into the night air.
The rain pours around you, puddling on the cobblestones as you kind of like pull your cloak up and close, your breath fogging in the cold, near winter air. As Tarantula kind of shuffles behind you, you begin heading towards, I assume, the direction where those manors were.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. You kind of like make your way past the town hall, and it gets darker on this side of town, mostly because you get the idea that most people have kind of turned in for the night. What are you looking for exactly?
A manor, pretty run down. If it has a name or something, you know the name I'm thinking of, or a crest, something like that. Yeah, that type of manor.
Right. So, you scan around looking for a manor that you would assume matches the description of what you're looking for. And make an investigation check for me.
Investigation. I believe I have a -1 to that. Yes. So 14 -1, 13.
Okay. It takes you about an hour of just wandering the streets, and you eventually see a 2-story, which is pretty high for this town. Most of the buildings are kind of like made very low. A 2-story wood and stone building rises into the night. In front of it, the estate itself is like kind of overgrown. The garden overtaken by weeds and moss. The fence, iron spiked at the top, is rusted in some areas. The gate is padlocked, but the name kind of gives you a subtle remembrance. Shesk. Shesk is written over the gate. This is the one.
Elena, upon spotting, will just kind of turn on her heel and walk over, kind of rattle the chains back and forth. Ugh, it's locked.
It's locked. I can help with that.
You can?
Oh, yeah. Is there a... DM, is there a padlock or
There's
something?
a padlock.
Alright, sounds good. In that case, Tarantula will pull out her thieves' tools and get to work on trying to pick that lock.
Alright. You pull out your lockpicks and kind of like blinking the rain out of your eyes, start to pick the lock. Go ahead and make a thieves' tools check for me.
Alright, what would that be again?
It would be D20 plus dexterity plus your proficiency modifier if you are proficient with these tools.
Sounds good.
Which I believe you are.
I am, yes. Oh, that's not too good. Okay, 7 plus 3 is 10 plus 2, 12.
12. Okay, this lock is pretty rusted and isn't of very high quality, so it takes you like, a little while, and then just find the tumbler and then it falls. And the chains like kind of fall with it and they clatter onto the ground and the gate creaks open gently.
Okay. Elena will kind of nod to Tarantula in appreciation, and then push the gate open and walk through to the front door, and also push that open.
As you reach the front door, it's been damaged heavily. It could either be from disrepair or something else, but it's kind of like hanging off of its hinges. You notice this house doesn't look... It looks even more decrepit up close. The wood is rotted in some areas, the glass shattered, overgrown with vines. It was once a nice house, but not anymore. Time has taken its toll. As the door like creaks open, it reveals a dark, musty interior. Lightning lights the sky outside for a second, revealing doors to your left and right, along with the staircase leading outward.
Okay.
Are you following?
Yes.
Okay, well, Elena will, I guess, progress up the stairs, right? Straight up.
Okay. You kind of like reach a landing at the top as you kind of like step up the very creaky, and the stairs sound very dangerous just as you're walking up them. A set of double doors greets you, along with doors to your left and right.
Okay. Up the first double doors again.
What's your passive perception?
Mine, it is 14.
Okay, so you don't notice this, but as Elena goes for the door, you hear something shift on the other side and someone curse very lightly, muffled by the rain, and you just kind of stop, Elena, suddenly.
Me?
Yes,
Okay.
You hear something move on the other side of the door.
There's someone in there.
Yes, there it is.
What do we do? Should we leave?
No, we can't leave. How sneaky are you?
I can be pretty sneaky if I need to be.
Okay. I think we should go in there. Now, this is going to be weird, but I'm going to make myself invisible. When I open that door, they're not going to see anything. They're going to be very surprised. I'm going to try to sneak in there, and if they're hostile or something, I think we should try to scare them out before we fight them. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I don't know how you'd become invisible, but yeah, but okay, but yeah, that makes sense. So you want to open the door, and then I sneak in there and somehow.
Yes, you hide, like behind the door or something. Don't go in the room yet. I'll go in, and once they, calm down, I guess, then you sneak in, right, when the door is open. And then, once you're in position, we'll attack.
Of course, yeah, I can do that.
Elena will kneel down on the ground and take her ring and kind of hold it between both hands and hold it up to her forehead, and I will cast invisibility on myself.
Watch as Elena's form flickers and then disappears entirely.
Yeah.
Tarantula will stand very shocked for a moment, but kind of like shake her head and like snap out of it and get ready to hide once Elena opens the door.
Elena will stand up and kind of flex her fingers, lay her hands on, is it a knob or is it a...
Handle.
It's a handle. Lay her hands on the handle and they pull out or in. Outward. Pull a hand on the handle and then creak open the door fairly slowly until it's wide enough.
Both doors or just one?
Just one. Just one. Actually, yeah. Pull open one door and slip inside.
You're hiding?
Yes,
Okay.
I am hiding.
Make a stealth check for me.
Okay. A 16 plus 7, so
wow.
that would be
23.
what would that, 23. Yeah, I'm good at math.
Okay. That's pretty good. Okay. Elena, make a stealth check with advantage as you open this door.
That's all invisibility gives me.
Advantage, yes. Well, and the ability to basically hide everywhere.
Okay.
Floor dice. Dice on the floor.
The luckiest.
13 plus 2, 15.
13 plus 2, 15. Okay. Okay. The door creaks like kind of loudly as you open it. And then you just kind of make your way in. You see what appear to be 3 men wearing that gunmetal gray armor with red sashes. As one of them is currently like, you notice kind of a taller, lanky man with like blonde hair and brown eyes, just kind of like looking through the. He has like a scar, like, you know, across his face as he's just kind of like digging through the books, and he's like, I don't really see it, like what we're looking for here. And then you see like one of the guys, like shorter, like the near balding man who in the street,
Same guy who pushed me over in the street.
yeah, just kind of like
That
picking,
bastard.
just kind of like picking at one of the locks. Well, no, there's a safe. Apparently, like, you see a desk has been broken open and is currently like picking like one of the locks, and then you hear ping, and he's like curses as he just holds up a lockpick that's broken. He's like, God damn it. And then you just see like the larger guy just like sitting there. He's like, oh, I think we need to find the key. And he's like, that's what he's doing back there. Aren't you paying attention, you? And he just like throws the like end of the lockpick at the other guy's head, and then just kind of like bounces off his head, and he doesn't even seem to react, and he's just like, oh, that hurts. And then he just like kind of like starts rubbing his skull, and then the other guy just like slams the safe in frustration. Okay. What are you doing?
In terms of weapons, what are they armed with?
Armed? You see what appear to be like these like very nasty looking, like they look like they took wooden clubs and modified them so they're heavier on one end. It's made of like a mishmash of like wood that they found in like some really nasty looking metal that they definitely salvaged.
Okay.
So
Are they like attached to them, or are they like kind of sitting somewhere, these clubs?
it's just kind of like on their belts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And all of them have the same thing? Okay.
Oh, you notice if they all have like a few crossbows.
Oh, crossbows too. Okay. Is there a bookshelf I could like push on top of somebody?
The bookshelves are built into the wall, unfortunately.
Dang it!
Yeah.
Ugh. I was like, while you were describing that, I was like, I could totally push a
Yeah,
bookshelf.
no, unfortunately, they are on the wall. Although there is like a desk and chairs lying around.
Oh, okay. Could I like pick up a chair?
Do you want to pick up a chair?
Would that like break my invisibility if I chucked a chair at him?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
it would.
That's not worth it then. Does it give me like? Is there like some sort of coup d'etat thing or something that I can do if I'm invisible and like get behind him and stab him?
Well,
or does
they're
that just give
wearing
me
armor.
advantage or something?
They're wearing armor. It would be quite a blow, but it would be. They are wearing armor, and they're pretty. These guys are pretty like. These are tougher looking than the average person. So.
Okay. I'm gonna. Is the door still propped open, right?
Door's still propped open.
Okay. I'm gonna like stick my head outside, and then wave at Tarantula like, we're all good. I'm gonna do it.
So you do that, and Tarantula, you see nothing.
Yeah, I was about
Oh,
to
right.
say.
I forgot I'm invisible.
Yeah, everything's all good. Hey, what? Did that dust just move?
Okay, Elena will come up behind the I guess the guy who was lockpicking, and we'll draw her sword, and with the rusted looking blade, she'll kind of raise it up invisible behind him, and then there's kind of a flicker. And I assume I get like advantage surprise round on this.
Yes, you get surprise with this. Yeah, you would get advantage, I believe.
Advantage and surprise. Okay. Actually, what is this a full action? No, it's not. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you have advantage.
All right. So she will raise her sword up, and let's see. The invisibility kind of flickers, and you see her, and as she comes into full focus, her eyes are burning with this red fire, and these red tendrils kind of curl around her arms and through her fingers and down the length of the sword, and the around and underneath the ring especially. Well, first I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to Hexblade's Curse this guy, which is going to cause, like, around his neck, seeps out this little red chain that kind of links around his throat. It doesn't do anything, but that's what cursing looks like. And then she will plunge the sword down into his back.
All right. Make an attack roll with advantage. You see Elena's form flicker back in.
I just got a natural 20.
You just got a natural 20.
I got a
Okay, that's a
natural
nice
20.
crit. Okay, that's nice crit. Matches the narrative too. Okay, so time seems to slow as Elena brings her rusted sword up. It flares with like this red smoke and glows like and there's like a flash of lightning, and you just hear like, you know, a bookshelf like slide aside as the scrawny like blonde-haired guy just goes, "Hey Bob, I found the key," and then you just like, and then all of a sudden there's just and maybe describe the stack. What are you doing here?
So the sword just kind of plunges down, and as it's coming down, this red fire like leaps in front of it and hits him even before the sword does any connection. It hits him, and then it plunges kind of straight, not quite into his neck, but like into his back, you know, below his neck, and it goes through his. The intention is that it goes through his basically his spine, and into the floor below him with kind of a thunk.
Okay. We'll see how well it goes. Go ahead and roll your damage and just double it.
Okay. Let's see, and I get +2 bonus for the curse. Should I double the +2 bonus too? No. Okay. So those can be. Oh, look at that! 10 + 5, 15, 30 damage.
Okay, so 30 damage.
Yes.
To this guy.
Yeah.
All right, that is a lot of damage.
Damn.
So he just kind of, as you just kind of, there's like red fire like envelopes him, and he just like slams like down into like the he just like slams down into the safe and just starts coughing up blood as he just like kind of like, you know, lies there. He's still breathing, but, you know, ouch. Yeah. Like he's like barely, you notice like there's like blood seeping out of his back. It does not look like he's going to like be. He's like pretty screwed up right now. Okay. All right, and would you like to do anything as you see this happen?
I'd like to have Tarantula. Would there be a way for her to kind of sneak into the room but still be hidden?
If they're all focused on me, I don't know. I don't
you would, okay, so you would be able to like, so you would be able to like move into the room, but I wouldn't say like hidden at this point because there really isn't anything to hide behind.
Okay,
they're kind of distracted actually, so maybe you could like, are you going to sneak in the room and hide again?
Yeah, kind of like.
I don't know if there's really anything to hide behind.
Yeah, I'll just have her enter the room.
Okay, enter the room. You could like peek through the. If it wasn't clear, you're kind of like looking through a doorway right now.
Right. Yeah, I think I'll just have her enter the room.
Okay. So, you just kind of like scamper into the room, and what are you doing?
How far away are these guys?
Currently from you, okay, the room's not that big. So maybe like one guy's maybe about like, the large guy's about 5 feet away from you. The kind of taller, more lankier, like blonde guy with the scar is like 10 feet away from you. The shorter, balding guy is kind of maybe about, let's say like 10 feet away from you. That Elena has like just attacked.
Okay.
you guys the one with the key, right?
Yeah.
She is going to pull out...
He just turns around and like, holy shit, and you just see like, the key just drops out of his hands and just like clatters to the ground.
Tarantula is going to take out her short sword in that case and get ready to fight.
Okay. Are you going to do anything? You haven't used an action.
Oh, I can. Okay.
Yes.
Surprise round. Right. Yeah, I guess she'll get in range and try to hit this guy with a
Which guy?
short sword.
Which guy? Which guy?
Skinny guy.
Skinny guy. Okay.
That is an 8 plus 5. Fellas, I ain't good at math. 13. All right, that would be a 13 to hit.
13 to hit. That would hit, actually, because he's just kind of standing there like, oh, I dropped the key. And then all of a sudden you just kind of like dash and swing your sword at him and yeah, slash him.
And I got a 1 plus 3. That would be a 4.
Well, every little bit counts. Okay, so that's going to... Yeah, he just kind of like... Ugh, and it just like kind of stumbles backwards. And then you just kind of stand there, like peeking around the room. The large guy just kind of like lumbers up behind you. Okay. I would like you to roll initiative.
17 plus 2, 19.
19, okay. And you, Sasha?
Ooh, 2 plus 3. That's a 5.
2 plus 3, that's a 5. What is your dexterity?
My dexterity, 14 plus 2.
14 plus 2, that's... Well, 2. Okay, that's plus 2. Okay. Elena, it's now your turn, followed by... Okay, and then, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, now I'm faced with the dilemma of, do I kill this guy and then waste the regaining of hit points, or do I go for someone else?
You feel a weird pull that wasn't there before to kill.
Okay, sure. I'll just stab him again.
Okay.
I'll take my sword out and then just do the same thing. Just
Yeah.
stab him straight down.
Yeah. Okay. You like swing your sword down, and there's like a pulse of magic. Okay.
16 plus 5, 21.
21. That hits. Okay. You just like don't even roll damage. You just
Okay.
like slash him, and there's like, and then all of a sudden like you see like this like red energy just kind of like you kind of like inhale it, and you feel better.
Better. Okay. I did have a question about that. Can I for when my pact curse activates, can I have it like the little chain around their neck? Can I have it like tighten and decapitate them?
If you wish for that to happen, yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like that to happen.
Okay.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So the thing just kind of, as he dies, it tightens around his throat and just shing, and his head falls off. Yes. Then I will. I think I'll move so I'm flanking the skinny guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of like looking at both of you. All right. That will bring us to his turn. So he kind of like looks at you. He's like, ah! And then he just like pulls out the mace and just like slams it at you, Elena, who's just like eyes like glowing red, like coming towards you. All right. So he's going to use. You're within 5 feet. Within 5 feet.
Huh?
I'd say that you. No, you're not within 5 feet. Okay. So he's going to make 2 attacks against you. That is going to be a... That's Cox. That's going to be a 620 to hit.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And that is going to be 8 bludgeoning damage as he just like, bam, clocks you across the face.
I would like to use Hellish Rebuke against that.
Okay. So, yeah, you just kind of like turn your face back to him and your eyes flash red.
Yes, so 3d10. Okay, 13.
13? Yeah. Okay. So as you do, he just like these red flames just swirl and like encompass his body, and he lets out a yell as he just stumbles back, and they flare out, and he looks burned. All right, so 13 damage, you said?
Yes.
All right. So that's going to be okay. All right. Now his buddy just kind of like comes up behind you, Tarantula, and then just like you feel mace just come down. It's Cox. Okay, that's going to be 19 damage. No, sorry, 19.
Whoa!
19 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, so that's going to be 4 bludgeoning damage as he just brings the mace down onto your head, and you just kind of like get stunned for a second before focusing. And then he's going to bring it down again. That's going to be 17 to hit as he just like slams you into the ribs.
Whoa.
Okay. That's going to be
17.
5 bludgeoning damage on that last one.
All right.
Okay. Now it's going to be your turn.
Give me 1 second. The
Okay.
hotspot messed up again. So give me 1 second to.
So the current configuration is I'm on one side, then it's the lanky dude, then it's Tarantula, then it's the other dude.
You
like all kind of in a line.
So you lanky guy, Tarantula is here, right? He's coming in here. Big guy's coming in here.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so can I get a quick recap of damage? The guy got a 17, right?
Oof. He hit both of them. I believe that was.
Yeah. One was a 4, and then
The next one was a 6.
a 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I believe.
Owie. Pain.
You doing okay?
She's a bit
Okay, it is now your turn.
she's a bit beat up. Okay, so are we flanking the skinny dude?
Yes, I believe so.
We're flanking him. All right, let's go. She is going to
You get sneak attack.
yes, she's going to take her short sword and try and like slash him as hard as she can, and that would be an 11 plus 5 to hit, so a 16 to
16 to hit. That hits.
hit. All right, and then...
All right, do your DiMaggio.
oh yeah,
Damage.
my damage. Okay, and then
Tarantula just kind of like, after like kind of shakes her head and then just slashes at
plus
this one
3.
guy.
So a 6, and then a 3, and a 5.
Okay, that's going to be how much?
A 6, a 3, and a 5, and I can't do math.
Are there any like? It's 14. And did you add anything to that?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, it's going to be 14. You said, or hit 2d.
Was that weapon damage plus sneak attack?
Yeah, and you can notice for a quick second as her sword connects with this guy that her eyes kind of flash pale for a minute, and she seemed a little bit distracted for just a second, as if she heard something, but she quickly seems to shake it off and gets ready to fight again.
All right, Elena, your turn.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm also gonna hit this guy.
Okay.
I have no spells left though, so I'm just gonna stab him. That is a 12 plus 5, 17.
17 to hit. Okay, so that hits. You bring your sword down and slash at him.
Yep.
Around the same time that Tarantula does, and he just kind of like turns. You kind of like slash him in like across his torso. You kind of catch him in his back.
Okay. 9 plus 3 damage, so 12 damage.
12 damage. Okay, so he just like, and are you doing it to kill?
To kill?
Yeah.
If I didn't, what would happen?
You would get knocked out. Are you trying to knock him out, or are you trying to kill him?
I'll knock him out, sure.
Knock him out. You just kind of hit him in the side of the head, and he just kind of like falls down on the ground.
All right.
Okay.
This last guy we can kill.
All right. That's going to be followed by the big guy who just kind of like walks up to you, Tarantula, and just like bam, like starts clocking you across the head. That's going to be a 17 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
Yep, and that's going to be a 14 hit on the second one.
14. If my armor class is the same, does
Yes.
he get?
Yes, it does.
It does
All
hit.
right.
Okay.
So that's going to be a total of 11 damage as he just bam, bam, like strikes at you.
And I'm gone.
Oh.
She is. He
Yeah.
clocked her over the head, and she folds like an omelet.
The world just
immediately
kind of
collapses.
like blurs for a second, flips upside down, and then you just fall in inky blackness.
Okay.
Your turn, Elena. Oh, wait, actually, it's your turn next, Tarantula. Go ahead and make a death save for me. This is
We
interesting.
can get like TPK'd here. Because I don't have full HP. And my spells are out. Ooh. Is he like near a window or something? Could I like shove him out?
No.
Okay.
He's by the door, though.
18.
18?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you succeed. All right, Elena, your turn.
Does it take an action to stabilize someone?
Yes.
Or, okay, so I could just do that and like
Medicine
tank
check.
for a second.
It would take a medicine check.
Okay. Oh, it would take a medicine check.
Yeah, it would take an
Okay,
action.
so it's not a guarantee. Okay. And that would restore her to what, 1 HP?
No, it would just make her stable.
Oh, okay. Versus if she succeeds 3 times, then she becomes stable on her own.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know if I can tank that long. What happens when she's stable? Can she take an action to like heal on her turn or
No.
something? Oh, okay.
She just stops making death saves.
And she doesn't do anything?
Yeah, she's unconscious for like the next few hours until she regains consciousness.
Okay, so I literally don't have a choice. Okay. Well, I gotta attack the dude then. Well, Elena will like spring over the 2 bodies in front of her and drive her sword down into this towards this guy.
Okay.
That will be a yeet.
Oh, wow, nat 20? Wow.
Another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just kind of like jump up, eyes flaring.
Okay,
like
this was the right choice.
like flaring a red, and there's just a blur of like red and brown cloak for a second as Elena just jumps up and like slashes downward, striking this one guy.
Okay.
Okay. And roll damage.
Just
for that.
double this damage again.
You didn't move your hex, I believe.
I can't. That was my curse. The hex is a different spell, yeah. 10, 13, double it, 26.
26?
Yeah.
Okay. So he just like stumbles forward, not dead, but he just like falls backwards. The bookshelf like kind of collapses behind him as he just stumbles onto the ground, like bleeding, as like the red fire just like still swirls around your blade. Okay. He's going to use his turn to take the dash action out the door as he just kind of like looks around, collects himself, and this large guy just smashes through the door and runs down the staircase. You have an attack of opportunity.
Okay. I'm gonna... Is it too close to Eldritch Blast him?
I'm gonna say yes because he's just. I would say it would be a melee weapon attack.
Okay, that's fine.
That's good.
11 plus 5, 16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay. You just kind of like slash out at him, and
Yeah.
All right.
7 plus 3 damage, 10
Good.
damage.
Are you going to knock him out, or are you going to?
I'll just kill him.
You're going to kill him. Okay. You just kind of like slash him in, and then he just like falls on the ground, rolls down the stairs, and into the door below. All right.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I would have died if I hadn't critted there.
Let's not think about that.
All the
Yeah,
enemies are
that would be
clear,
great
and
for a
I believe
session.
Combat is over.
Okay. I got absurdly lucky.
Okay.
Holy shit.
As Elena just kind of sits there, lightning like strikes behind her as the fire kind of dissipates from her blade. She sees the eyes stopping.
She takes a deep breath and closes her eyes, and when she opens her eyes again, the red fire is gone. It seeps kind of from her blade and from her arms back into herself and inside of, it seems, the ring. Well, I'll go stabilize Tarantula.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
Make a medicine check for me. Tarantula, go ahead and make another death save really quick.
That is a... Where's my medicine?
15.
15?
17 plus 0,
17
17.
plus 0. Okay, that succeeds. So you kind of like sit there and like kind of tear off a portion of Tarantula's cloak and wrap it around her wounds, and the bleeding seems to stop after a while naturally on its own. Okay. Breathing's fine.
All right. Well, Elena will drag the bodies, the 2 decapitated bodies, or 1 decapitated body and 1 just dead body, kind of into a corner. And then she'll take the unconscious guy and tear pieces off of his own clothing to tie his hands and feet, and she'll gag him. Then she'll reach down. Oh, and she'll take Tarantula and take her her pack off and search through. She'll find her own blanket, and she'll kind of prop Tarantula up and put the blanket over her. Then she'll, as she's looking around, she'll pick up the key. Right, the key fell down, and she'll go unlock the safe.
Okay. So, as you approach the safe, it's like kind of like it was built into the desk at one point, and it like you notice like the wood splintered around it. It's made of like dark black metal, and you notice like a keyhole just kind of like positioned there. You walk up and are you going to try and open it?
Yes.
All right. You slide the key in. It fits perfectly, and then you kind of like shoulder it open, and it opens with a creaking noise as you kind of like look down into it, and you see a few gold coins. One red jewel. You count about like 20 gold pieces, 7 silver. But what kind of catches your eye first is what appears to be a orb, like a purple blue crystal. Its texture is kind of like opaque. As you kind of look up at it, you kind of like see your own reflection, and it fits in your hand.
Is it like a focus, a magic focus or something?
Make an Arcana check. See if you know what this is.
Can I actually -1 to Arcana? 14 -1, 13.
14 -1, 13? Yeah, you don't know what this is. You're not familiar with this. So you just kind of like stare at it. The rain kind of pouring around you, the dead bodies kind of sitting there, and Tarantula's unconscious form as you kind of just look around the old house. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode. All right. Yeah. Thank you guys for playing,
right.
and thank you for listening. We'll hopefully be
thank
back
you.
here. We'll hopefully be back here next week with more of this.
Woo.